Yep, are we good to go? Hi, everyone. I don't think you can even see me from this wonderful display here. I am here, I promise. Hi, everyone. My name is Billy Gordon. I'm from Health and Wellbeing Queensland. I'm a stand-in for Tim Klar, who actually called in sick today, so you're stuck with me. Today, we're running a session on tech for health, using digital platforms to drive better menu choices. So today we have two speakers. We have Rachel Debeck, CEO of Flexischools, which is a leading Australian technology platform transforming the way schools and parents manage online ordering and payments, particularly for schools' tuck shops. With a background in digital innovation, strategy and leadership, Rachel brings deep experience scaling purpose-led tech businesses. Rachel is known for driving customer-focused solutions that simplify everyday life and create lasting community value. I'll ask Rachel to come up here and give us her presentation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Hopefully you can see me. Is this the beginning? I think we might have just... there we go. Okay, excellent. Thank you for having me here. Tough choice this afternoon around which session to sit in, because I was quite tempted to sit in the other one as well, but I thought I'd better come to this one, given that I thought I might have something to say on the topic. So thank you all for choosing to come and talk about tech for health. Here we go. So my name's Rachel, as Billy introduced me. Just over 2 years ago, I joined Flexischools as its CEO. So I thought I'd give you a quick intro so you know who's standing in front of you. So I've spent, as Billy said, most of my career working across different sectors and organisations, but the common thread has always been using technology to solve real-world problems. So prior to joining Flexischools, I worked in aged care and disability sectors doing the same thing. So I'm really passionate about customer-centred product design, listening to people you serve and building solutions around their needs and community needs. I'm also a parent to 3 school-aged children, so I've experienced firsthand the realities of parenting, school tuck shops, volunteering and online ordering. So it's that combination of professional experience and some of my parenting challenges that I thought I'd share with you today. And a little bit about Flexischools. So we're Australia's leading online ordering and cashless payment solutions for schools. So we support well over 2,000 schools across the country that use our platform for a whole range of things, including uniform sales, fees, donations, and our point of sale solution. But what I'm here to talk to you about is actually tuck shop or canteen in other states orders, which is where the Flexischools business began. And what really drives Flexischools is our focus on improving the overall experience for everyone in the school community. And that means making things simple and stress-free for parents, but also reducing the burden for schools and tuck shop conveners, and we've had the chance to hear from a few of them already today. So we're always looking at how we can use technology to improve everyday interactions. And this is what I really wanted to talk to you about today, which is the role that digital platforms play in supporting healthier menu choices in school settings. And when we talk about tech in schools, we often talk about efficiency or simplification, or maybe even reducing waste. But digital platforms also give us something more powerful, which is an opportunity to really influence behaviour. And school tuck shops are a perfect example. I believe that it's around 1/3 of a child's total dietary intake happens at school, which means the food environments that we create during the school day really matter. And when we talk about digital ordering, we're not just talking about passively creating an ordering solution. We actually have the ability to design the experience in a way that gently guides students, families, and even conveners towards better choices. And that's why the topic is really important and one that I'm passionate about, because tech isn't just a transaction tool, it can really be a health intervention. And school tuck shops, as we've heard today, can have a real influence on student eating habits. So, what does research tell us about this topic? Digital platforms give us a lever in a way that sometimes physical tuck shops can't, although we heard some great stories in the earlier sessions about food placement in a physical setting. But an order journey can be designed, tested, and then refined so that every student or parent sees the same experience. And the obvious question, I think, from all of this is, does it really work? And luckily, we don't need to guess, because there's a body of peer-reviewed research that looks specifically at digital ordering in school environments and whether it can guide healthier decisions. And Flexischools was the platform that was used in that research. And the answer is yes. So I wanted to share today some research that was conducted using our platform. It was conducted in New South Wales with Hunter Health New England, local health network. And across multiple studies, researchers found 3 consistent things. The first being that healthier menu positioning really does work. So when healthy items are placed more prominently, they're chosen more often. Anyone surprised by that? The second being that menu design influences decisions. Layout, prompts, and defaults all matter. And the third being that even with these interventions, there was no negative impact on sales. So importantly, because we're talking, and I know that the group in the room next door to us is talking about the viability and profitability of tuck shops, but importantly in this research, overall revenue stayed the same. So what we're really talking about is not forcing people towards options that they don't want. We're talking about making it easier for people to choose something healthier without sacrificing tuck shop viability. And this hasn't been a one-off idea. It has been tested and refined over time. It started with a pilot project that should say 2018, it says 2020 there. But that started in 2018 and then progressed into a formal randomised controlled trial known as the Click and Crunch study. And if there's any researchers in the room that were part of this, please put your hand up and tell me. This was conducted before I joined Flexischools, but it's all published, and I'm really happy to share all of the citations if you'd like some of the detail. So as part of this trial, half the schools received the menu changes and nudges, while the other half acted as control sites with no changes made. And over the course of just 10 weeks, the intervention schools saw an increase in healthy items that were ordered and a reduction in red or orange items with, as I mentioned, no negative impact on revenue. Those findings were later replicated in a high school version of the trial, and that was published in the International Journal of Behavioural Nutrition and Physical Activity. So we now have evidence then across different age groups and settings that these design changes can really work. Not only did they work in these studies, but there were a number of follow-up studies that then showed that those changes stuck. So it wasn't just for the duration of the 10 weeks of the trial. The follow-up studies actually showed very similar results. So what changes were made as part of this research? They were very practical things. So healthy items were moved to the top of the menu. Less healthy items required an additional click or scroll, and small nudge messages, we call them nudge messages, were added alongside healthier items. The default category was set to feature healthier options first. In other words, all of this was just smart design choices that subtly guided behaviour. These were all embedded directly within the ordering journey in the intervention schools, and the control schools kept the original menu layout so that the impact could be properly measured. And what this research showed was that there was an increase in the healthier items that were selected and a decrease in the less healthy options. And it's not just schools that we are seeing these results. If we look outside the education sector, which is something that we always do, because I think there's a lot that we can learn from what's happening in schools, but there's also a lot that we can learn from other settings. Digital platforms in areas like retail, banking, and transportation are already using behavioural nudges to influence decisions. For example, who's clicked on who's noticed a default option to receive paperless statements from your bank? Sound familiar? Or being prompted to round up a payment to make a donation. So these subtle design cues work, and they work at scale. So whether it's Uber that's highlighting eco-friendly ride options, or online supermarkets placing healthier products in the recommended for you section, the principles that's used is really the same, which is that people make better choices when the better option is easy and visible. And that's really the opportunity that we've got in front of us in school tuck shops. And so with all of these learnings, we obviously participated in the research trial, which was run by Hunter New England, and we can see what's happening in other sectors. And then outside of the trial, we see similar patterns on Flexischools. So when schools activate health-based categories and position those items more prominently, we see a measurable lift in healthy item purchases, even without any sort of explicit health campaign. So one of the good things about being able to innovate and continue to upgrade tech is that we can put in front of our tuck shop conveners, schools and in other settings, some of these policy decisions and programs to help them make those decisions. So the Smart Choices framework, for example, can be fully applied to a digital menu on Flexischools, and schools can map their menu items to green, amber and red, although we shouldn't be seeing much in the way of red throughout the term, and then use that as part of an online ordering journey. There's fantastic tools that are available from Health and Wellbeing Queensland and from QUAS to help schools through that journey. And we're seeing this play out nationally. So every state has a different rating scheme or health framework. But in the states where health rating schemes are more widely adopted, the online menus tend to have more green items and fewer amber and red items. Now this is actually really hard to measure what's happening in menus where the rating scheme isn't applied, because for those of you who are familiar with the ratings frameworks, you need to look at the ingredients that are listed, you need to be able to make those choices, which we don't have the visibility on. Whether or not it's homemade, whether or not it's store-bought. But just by looking at the menu item names, we can see that where a school is applying a ratings framework and really thinking about, is it a green item, is it an amber, that we tend to see a lot more green items then coming through on the menu. And we do see that in the purchasing decisions as well. So where a health-rated menu is used, often you'll see there that more than 50% of the items that are sold are green items. So, a bit of a call to action. What do we do with all of this? So you can take the research, take the data and put them into practice in your own tuck shops or your own health settings. So it's not just theory, it's really now a practical roadmap that everyone can apply. And so there's a few really simple steps that you can take. And so we always encourage people to audit their current menu. Where do the healthier items sit in the ordering flow? Activate the Smart Choices categories, if you haven't already, on a menu so that there's a constant reminder of whether or not the item is green or amber. And always try and move green items up and reduce the number of clicks required for a healthy item. One of the other things we always encourage our tuck shops to do is really use the analytics. So it's one of the really powerful things about a tech platform is that you have all of the data and reporting so that when you're making small changes, you can actually very quickly see if they're having an impact. Look at what's being ordered, make small changes and test. We, for example, email out a weekly ratings report so that every week as part of the revenue or profitability, that sounds like it's me at time, you can see a breakdown of purchasing decisions against the traffic light system. So just to wrap up, how can we help? Of course, we're here to support you if you're ready to take that next step. If anyone is keen to understand more about the research that I've mentioned today, I'd love to send that through to you. Activate the Smart Choices categories, update menu layouts, and make sure you use the analytics on your platform. And I should say this is really just the beginning. AI is evolving so much. This is not going to be a static area. And I won't go into some of the things now that I think we'll see over the course of the next sort of 6 to 12 months, but there's going to be some wonderful tools that can really help drive better outcomes. Thank you. I hope this has sparked some ideas about what you can do in your setting.
Thanks, Rachel. That was really thought-provoking. Really interested to hear more about AI, so we'll get to that when we get to your questions as well. Next, I'd really love to introduce Jay Tahtali to you. He's a Sales and Operations Manager at Schools 24. Jay is a sales and leadership professional with a passion for empowering others and driving meaningful outcomes. With a strong background in software and school-based technologies, Jay currently heads sales and operations at Schools 24, where he helps schools across Australia streamline their online ordering and point-of-sale systems. Outside of work, Jay is passionate about health and fitness and can often be found training at the gym or tuning into the footy, especially during the NRL season. I'll let Jay introduce himself to you. Thanks.
Hey guys. Where is the... Is this the clicker here? Perfect. All right. So I'm Jay from School 24. As you said, I'm the Sales and Operations Manager. So today, I'm going to give you guys a bit of a look into how School 24 can help schools to drive healthier menu choices. We're going to look at it from a couple of different angles. So to get started, I thought we'd do a bit of an introduction just to give you some insight into who School 24 is and what we actually do. Then from there, we'll go into how the School 24 system can help as a school to help drive healthier menu choices amongst both parents and amongst students as well. So firstly, we'll touch on driving healthier choices at home through online ordering. And then we'll touch on driving healthier choices at school through self-serve kiosks. And then lastly, we'll touch on the importance of having data, and then we'll chat through a little bit of a case study as well. Okay, so who is School 24? So you may or may not know, but School 24 is an all-in-one online ordering and volunteer roster provider. We have a modular platform which P&Cs can tailor to their specific needs and requirements based on the different services that they provide at school. But we cater everything from the tuck shop. We do online tuck shop point of sale, and tuck shop self-serve kiosks, to the uniform shop, again, online uniform shop and uniform shop point of sale, and then also online events and fundraisers and a volunteer roster module as well. So School 24, we've been in the space for almost 20 years now, 20 years next year. So we've been around for a quite extensive period of time, working with schools all around Australia of all different shapes and sizes. We were founded way back in 2006, and we're actually built by a former canteen and P&C member who was volunteering in his daughter's school canteen and went through all the challenges that schools went through, 20 years ago now, of doing things manually, and pretty much said there had to be a better way of doing things. And yeah, here we are 20 years later. So School 24 was actually the very first online ordering company in the whole of Australia. And we're quite proud of the fact that after 20 years, we're still here and still very relevant in the space. We provide 24/7 support for not just school administrators, but also parents as well. That's probably a key value point that schools love, the fact that parents can get straight in touch with School 24 for any type of queries or inquiries that they may have. And then lastly, helping schools offer healthy, convenient choices, which we're going to touch on today. I'll whiz through this one, but just in terms of a system perspective, School 24 is compatible on all devices. So from the parent perspective, we've got a free mobile app on both iPhone and Android. And then from administrators, it's a fully SaaS-based platform. So you can jump in and have a look at your dashboards and benefit from the data that School 24 can give you from any device pretty well anywhere in the world. As long as you've got the web link and your username and password, you're good to go. So that's kind of a little bit of an introduction just into who we are. Now we'll touch a little bit on our system and how we can actually help schools to drive healthier choices. So firstly, we'll touch on the online ordering side of things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plug my phone in and give a little bit of a demonstration. I want to try and get it a bit engaging. I know it's post-lunch sleepies, so I'll plug my phone in and we'll just do a bit of a run through and show you guys what we can do. Might need the AV crew to switch up the output. All right, fantastic. So here we have the homepage of the School 24 ordering app. So we'll go into place a tuck shop as we are if we were a parent or a student, and we can talk through some of the different elements that School 24 has to really be able to help support schools in driving home their own healthy initiatives. And I guess to preface, what I will say is, technology is used as a tool to aid and assist. Ultimately, the decision is up to the school to first, decide to undertake a healthy initiative. And, if that's not done first and foremost, then ultimately, technology isn't really going to be able to amplify that. So we'll click on Tuck Shop and we'll jump to place an order for tomorrow and we'll pull up our Tuck Shop menu. Now, once the menu appears here on the screen up there, we can talk through a couple of the different elements. So the first one that we have to make it really, really easy for parents to see what's healthy and what they should pick for their students, particularly around parents who might not have a lot of education around healthy eating or nutrition or that kind of stuff, is we have the traffic light icons. So I'm sure everyone's probably familiar with the traffic light icons, the green, amber, red system. So this is just a really good, easy way to be able to signify to parents, which are the healthier items and which are the not so healthier items. So we can see we've got some green items, we've got some yellow items there, and then we've got some red items. Now, what I will say is with School 24, school administrators, P&C and tuck shop staff have full control and capability over their own menu. So they can really configure it to their desire. And when used properly, it really can be a very powerful tool to help drive home the healthy initiative. So in addition to the traffic light system, you really can use a whole lot of what we call menu engineering tactics to really strategize and design a menu in a way to, draw on behavioral sciences to, get parents to pick healthier items before the unhealthier ones. So one way that we've done that is by strategic menu placement. So as we can see, we've actually got all of the green items grouped at the top here, so that the green items, which are the healthier foods, are the foods that's right in front of parents' faces, and that's what they're seeing first. So as we scroll through the menu, we see we actually have to scroll through all of the green items before we actually get to any of the yellow items which are on the menu. We get through to the yellow, and then we can see we've got a couple of red items there as well. Now with the red items, obviously as per the Smart Choices guidelines, the recommendation is just 2 red food days per term. So in School 24, admins can actually set availability dates on products. So what we've done is we've set up some red foods here, and we've just set them as only available today and tomorrow, which makes it really, really easy for admins to be able to police that, but also for students and parents to see when there's red food available. Now, one of the other menu engineering tactics that schools can use is drawing on imagery. Now, when you can use high quality product imagery with lots of eye-catching visuals and lots of bright colors, that really helps to make those healthy items more attractive. So as you can see here in this menu, we've just used a whole bunch of stock photos and images that we've generated with AI. Now in today's day and age, you don't even have to take a photo of a product. There's so much resources out there with different AI tools and stock photo images, and School 24 is also more than happy to assist with that kind of stuff. So we've got lots of nice, colourful, bright, eye-catching images for all of the healthy items. But then what we've actually done is we've strategically left images out for the yellow food. So as you can see, it makes it really a lot less appealing to parents, because it's kind of just that plain, aesthetic with no images. We've also left out descriptions as well, which again, is highlighting the healthy items, because they have these nice descriptions here: healthy mix of protein, veggies, snacks, so on and so forth, and really driving home those choices. Lastly, from the online ordering perspective, you can see we've got a few different food labels here. So as administrators, you can add different food labels to your items, which make it a lot easier for parents to see particular selling points, like whether it's organic or low in fat, low in sugar, that kind of stuff. And then we have a search function at the top here, so parents can easily search through the entire menu. If they know something that's healthy, they can easily search for that directly and then have a look and navigate that way. AV, can we go back to the slides, please? So that's driving home healthier choices from an online perspective. Now, as we know, it all starts at home, but predominantly for online ordering, that's really a parents and some students kind of thing as well. Now, to segue to our next part, we want to talk a little bit about driving healthier choices at school. Now, this is something that's quite unique to School 24, in that we offer what we call self-serve kiosks. So I'm sure everyone is familiar with the notion of a self-serve kiosk, much like what you see at McDonald's and KFC and so on and so forth, where you can go up to the kiosk, place your own order, and do it in a self-serve fashion. However, on the flip side, what we're actually doing is we're drawing on a lot of the same tactics that the big fast food chains utilize with the menu engineering and these kind of strategies, but flipping the script and using it to help drive healthier choices in a school setting for students. So I guess firstly, to talk about it from a kiosk perspective, I wanted to touch on the mechanics of kiosk ordering versus traditional over-the-counter ordering ideologies. So if we focus on high schools specifically, as we all know, high schools are typically slow to adopt or struggle with driving home. Not all, but some struggle with driving home online ordering for students. And that's just because students don't like to make decisions. They want to be in the moment. They want to decide what they want on the spot. They want to come up to the canteen and decide when they're there. So the problem with counter service at high schools is that the student waits in line often for long periods of time, and as we all know, students are spontaneous and indecisive, and if the student doesn't know what they want by the time they get to the counter, they're forced into making a rush decision because they have to get served by the staff member as soon as possible, ready to get the next person in, and then continue the process. Now, the problem with that is that students can often be forced into, an indecisive kind of knee-jerk response, and order something that they know is on the menu or something that they might have historically always ordered, which could historically be unhealthy. You know, they're falling into the victim of that subconscious programming, and if they don't have a lot of education on the menu itself or what's healthy, they're going to fall back to those usual choices. Now, the benefits of kiosk ordering is that it really flips the script. So instead of students getting to the front and being forced into a knee-jerk response and, you know, an impulsive food buying decision, when they get to the kiosk actually gives them the ability to scroll through a menu and allows them more time to actually process, you know, what it is that they'd like to have and kind of go through that decision-making process, which is essentially an important feedback loop that's missed when getting served by a physical staff member at the counter. And again, instead of being forced into a knee jerk, the kiosk gives students that breathing space, so to speak. Now, when you tie the mechanics of kiosk ordering, which we just talked about, in with strategic menu engineering tactics like we just mentioned with the online ordering, it really can help to further amplify the power of technology and systems to drive those healthier choices amongst students. Now, again, I mentioned it previously, a lot of the big fast food chains have used all of these tactics and strategies for, you know, a long time now. And what we're doing is we're just flipping the script using those same ideologies, but using it to promote healthy choices. So the first one, again, is on imagery. You know, really making a conscious effort to ensure that the menu has been configured in a way to use a lot of eye-catching, colourful, bright images, which really stimulates the student and draws in a lot of those behavioural sciences ideologies when it comes to decision making to help promote the attractiveness of the healthy food and get them to make healthy choices. We were going to actually demo, I should probably put a preface, we were going to demo the kiosk today, but we ran into some technical issues, so we've just got it on the screen here. Now, again, you know, super easy to implement these. Oh, where do we go? Super easy. Is that time? Oh, that was quick. All right, I'm going to have to whiz through this. So that's kiosks. I'll finish it up on, you know, bringing together the full ecosystem. So, you know, ultimately, technology doesn't matter unless you've got data to back it up. So with School24, we have the full complete ecosystem for the tuck shop from an ordering perspective. We've got the point of sale, the self-serve kiosks, and the online ordering. Now, what that gives you is that really gives you powerful data to really be able to measure what products are selling and actually help measure the success of your healthy initiatives at the school. Now, it's all good and well to drive home a healthy initiative, but if you don't have the data to actually measure the success of that, to first work out, A, is it doing well? B, are there tweaks and optimizations that we can make? Then really it's kind of useless. So School24 can offer all of these to the table. I'm out of time now, but if you do have some more questions, feel free to ask them while we're here sitting on the stage with Rachel.
Thanks so much, Rachel and Jay. That time did go really fast, didn't it? Always does. It should be turned on, so you shouldn't need to play with it. Thank you. You've both really illustrated the placement and promotion component of digital ordering and how you can really influence that on the digital platform versus being in person. So I thought that was really, really interesting. I might just start with a couple of my own questions, but please, from the audience, if you can pop any questions in the app, that would be wonderful, and we'll get to them as well. We have about 5 minutes to get through before the next. Rachel, you mentioned using AI and kind of really being excited about where that's going. So what are some of your thoughts on AI and what's possible in the next 6 to 12 months?
I was having a quick chat at our table earlier about this. I've been working in tech for about the last 15 years and building tech products, and I don't think I've ever seen a period of such rapid change as what we're seeing at the moment. So I expect that nothing is going to stand still, and I'm sure everyone in this room has started in some way, shape or form to use AI. I think where I see that providing tangible benefits, the other day one of my children, I asked him to cook dinner because I was running late, and he put the ingredients that he had in the fridge. This generation is going to be AI first, and came up with a recipe to cook. So I think that's an example of how our children are starting to use it already. But the ability to quickly call upon data to analyse a menu, identify where health ratings can be improved. I think Jaylan touched on the data and analytics, but being able to call up real-time live dashboards to track menu performance. And even using anonymised sort of parent ordering patterns to be able to optimise placement and decision-making around menus. So I think that's really just scratching the surface of where I see some of the opportunities. And I think we're going to see incredible change over the next 12 months.
Fantastic, thank you. Jay, did you have any thoughts on AI?
No, yeah, I 100% agree. Like, even myself, like, I'm so AI first these days, not just for, business, but also personal. If there's something that I need to draw on, the first place I go is ChatGPT, not Google. So I think it's definitely an immensely powerful tool. And I think the more people get to understand how to use it and how to, ask it to do the right things, it's only going to accelerate.
Awesome, thank you. A couple of questions just on the app as well. I believe that many schools are now implementing phone bans. Do these kiosks require card payment, as many people today do not carry physical payment cards, or how do you overcome this barrier?
Yeah, that's a good question. So with the self-serve kiosks, they support two different types of payment options. So first one is just standard FPOS, so just a bank card. So as you can see on the left-hand side of the kiosk there's an FPOS terminal embedded in a bracket. So that's the first form of payment that can be accepted. That's optional. Schools don't have to utilise that. We partner with Tyro as our chosen FPOS partner. So through Tyro, you'd be able to benefit from integrated FPOS. We also support student ID card payments as well. So the School24 account is basically for parents and students, the one account that can be used for everything from online orders to over-the-counter purchases via the point of sale, but also the self-serve kiosk as well. So through the use of student ID cards, the student can just simply tap their ID card on the barcode scanner. That will link them to the sale, and then that sale value can be credited to their School24 account balance.
Fantastic, and that's the second question answered as well, even though you didn't know what it was, and it was about student ID cards. Well done. I think we're out of time. They're literally counting us down. I might invite you all to stick around for the last session of the day, the advertising effect, the tips, tricks, and insights that get people, get things selling and people buying. So I'm really excited to hear that. Thanks again, Jay and
Thanks
Rachel.
for having us.
Thank you.